Okay, I think we are live. Hello. Like, give it a few seconds to actually show up on YouTube because this always takes a minute when I'm doing it live. There we go. Okay. So, hello. How is everybody? Thanks for joining to celebrate 8,000 subscribers. Wow. Hold on. I'm like trying to. Of course. Yeah, this is what this wants to do. Okay. Hello. Hi. So we're celebrating 8,000 subscribers. Cheers. Thanks for joining. And thank you so much to everybody who has been a part of that happening. Yeah, it's really exciting. It feels like a big milestone. And I thought it would be fun to come on here and celebrate. Hi. Yay. People are here. I know it was very last minute, so I'm glad people could make it. Hello. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Ashley. Thank you. Thank you so much to everybody. It's very, yeah, very exciting. What else we have? Danielle from Chicago. Yay. Thanks. Hi, Lauren. Oh, I love it. I love there's so many people here. Awesome. This is great. Hi, Lori. Good to see you. Thank you. Got Natalie Marie. So we got somebody from Chicago. If you guys want to throw in where you're from, it's always interesting to see like where we have people coming from. But yeah, this is exciting. Like it's kind of like feels like a bigger milestone. So we have some exciting things happening tonight. I have some questions that I've gotten from Twitter and Instagram that I'm going to ask that I'm going to answer. I don't have that many, so if anybody in the comments has questions or wants specific book recommendations, I'm happy to do that. And also, I do have some giveaways to announce, which is always fun. West Virginia, awesome. Florida, okay, this is always so interesting. I never know where people are from. Arizona, but originally from New York. Hey, I'm in Manhattan tonight, usually, always during COVID. Texas, awesome. I have family in Texas. Thanks, Jennifer. Massachusetts, awesome. Another person from Texas. Ashley, yes, Massachusetts. Cool, okay. Kind of a variety of places. Lori's from Indiana, like all over the US. Pennsylvania. Hi, Carlin, San Diego. Oh, I went to college in San Diego. I did undergrad there. It's great. It's a great place. Although stay safe right now. I mean, that's got to be. I don't know how much the wildfires are affecting air quality there, but I know that whole area is bad right now. So that's rough. Okay. So a few things. One, I'm going to go ahead and announce what I'm doing for the giveaway. So the way I decided to do this is I'm doing one giveaway that anybody who watches this after, like on replay, can enter. And then one giveaway that is specifically for people who are here in the live stream. So if you're here, yay. Let me actually grab, I have a link that I'm going to drop, and maybe I'll like repeat this at some point for anybody who misses it the first time around. All right, so hopefully this will work. If it does, here is the link. Yes, it did. Awesome. Okay. So this is the link to enter. This giveaway is for a signed copy of Scavenge the Stars by Tara Sim. It is a YA fantasy novel that is a gender-flipped retelling of The Count of Monte Cristo. So in case you're interested, hi Maggie and Ever. Aw, Ever is adorable. Hi, yay, Beth. Hi, Beth from Texas. California, yeah, stay safe with everything going on there right now. Yay, glad people come. So if you guys are on the live and you want to use that link, you can enter to win a signed copy of this. Oh, and some swag, because I went to like the launch from this, so I've been saving it for a giveaway. So it is signed by the author, and you get a bookmark and some like cool tattoos that don't show up well on camera. So if you are interested in potentially winning this, people on the live stream, use that link. Feel free to enter. And then for everybody else, everybody on the live stream can enter this other giveaway as well, by the way. But if you're watching it on replay, I'm also giving away 2 books that I really, really love. This is Sweet Black Waves by Christina Perez. It is a retelling of Tristan and Isolde that's super witchy and atmospheric and great for this time of year. And then one of my favorite villain backstories, Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. Really love this. It's a retelling of Snow White but the backstory of the evil queen set in a magical ancient China. It's really, really good. So yeah, this is the other giveaway. Everybody can enter this. If you are interested in being entered to win these, comment when this is over down below with your email address and let me know that you want to be entered, and I will select a winner and reach out to you. You do need to be either 18 years or older or have parent permission to give me your address if you win in either case. So there you go. That's the giveaways. Hopefully that's fun. It's all YA, I guess. So, but and fantasy. That seems appropriate. Hey, Margaret. Yes, witchy retellings. I love the witchy retellings. They're really fun. Awesome. Yeah, I really, really like them a lot. So hopefully that's fun. Enter those, and sometime later in the live stream, I'll put out that link if it gets lost in comments again for people who want to enter for the live stream one. So with that said, I have a few questions that I had gotten from social media previously that I thought I would answer. And if anybody in the comments has questions or wants book recommendations or whatever, or if there's things you want to hear me talk about, we can do that. We're just gonna kind of hang out. So, oh, and also Margaret, I got your postcard the other day, so thank you. That was really sweet. So I will message you. I know you had a question on there, so just wanted to mention that was exciting. Okay, so first up, I will go with the questions from Instagram, and these were from a while back, and I took screenshots of them. So Bell's Books, etc. asked, advice for attending a book con or similar in person someday, fingers crossed, when COVID is over. Yes. Hello. Hi, Chrissy. Yay. Yeah. Okay, BookCon. So I will say this, I do have a tips video that I made a couple of years ago of like tips for attending a book expo, BookCon. In general, though, what would I say? Do research ahead of time and kind of prioritize what you want to do. And I think it seems to me that the people who have the best time going to BookCon seem to be people who've had experiences going to other kinds of conventions. Because I think they kind of know what they're getting into and know what it's like. So for me, I was like, oh, this is super chill because I go to New York City Comic Con, which is like way more crowded and crazy. But I think for people who are not used to conventions, it can be really overwhelming. So like pace yourself and realize you won't probably get to everything. Follow all of the publishers on social media because they'll drop a lot of stuff last minute. Bring snacks, take time to actually drink water and eat food. I think those are all, have fun, enjoy kind of what you did. Yay. Oh, good, Lori. Best of luck. Okay, we have a question. What's the nicest way someone could ask to do a buddy read with another booktuber? Etiquette and expectations. That's a good question. Interesting. I think it probably also varies depending on the size. So like I think smaller booktubers especially, it's way easier to just like reach out and be like, hey, I saw you were interested in this book. Would you want to maybe read it together or do some kind of a buddy read? I think for anything else, you could still say something. I mean, maybe even in comments section, like if you see somebody's hauled a book, be like, oh, cool, I would love to read it with you or with like a group of people or something. But again, it just, like kind of expecting that you may or may not get the response you want, depending on what people have going on. But people approach buddy reads in really different ways. Some people like to have them very, very structured, where everybody reads a certain number of pages every day and you talk about it at a certain time. I tend to have much less structured buddy reads, which is probably because I read quickly and kind of read at my own pace with a bunch of different books. And so I tend to do less structured ones, but there's a lot of variation. But you can always ask. Like, it doesn't hurt to ask if you want to do something, especially if you think it's something, if you know it's something that someone's expressed wanting to read or planning to read already. Yeah, Ashley, BookCon is fun. I saw Ashley at BookCon, which was cool. And hopefully next year, I'm really hoping that we're able to. Be flexible. Yes, that is exactly it. Be flexible. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so let's see what else I had in here. Good questions. Okay, Madam Dorm, I think it's Madison, asked, what are your sons' names? My sons are Conrad and Josiah. Conrad is 6. Josiah is going to be 4 in December. And this week has been very, very busy because they are both in school. And we have been navigating that, which I could talk about. It's like, oh goodness, it's been very complicated. But if you want to hear, I will go into it. If not, I don't have to. I kind of went off on it on Instagram a couple days ago. Margaret, yeah, at the time of a haul video seems like a good time. Yeah, I mean, I think having specific books you're interested in is helpful, and like knowing it's something that someone already has on their on their radar. Or, if you have your own thing, you can be like, hey, I want to read this book if anybody wants to join me. That's another way to do it if you don't want to read with a specific person, but that would be kind of my thing. What is your favorite genre? So sci-fi fantasy, probably fantasy has always been, but romance is catching up. Like romance is becoming a new favorite, but I would still say fantasy is probably my favorite genre. Yay! Oh, good. I'm glad people are entering the giveaway. And if anybody comes in later and needs the link to the live stream exclusive giveaway, let me know and I will post it again in the comments section. Oh, yay! Your nephew is Josiah. He is. They're both great. They have so much personality. They're very entertaining, but they're wonderful. Yeah. Yes, they keep us super busy. I like them too. I think we wanted to go with names when we were like picking names that had meanings that we liked, but also something that was not super common, but not strange, I guess was kind of generally what we were going to. So, yeah. Okay. So somebody's asking for giveaway link. There it is. I'm going to post it again. There's the giveaway link. If you're in the live stream, you can enter the giveaway. This is going to get shut down whenever I get off the live. So that one, and then the other one, anybody can enter later on. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Twins. Wow. That's a lot. Twins in 2nd grade, someone in 3rd grade, Bella and Julie. Oh my goodness. You are busy. That is so much. I can't even imagine. Yeah, Josiah started pre-K and Conrad is in 1st grade. So New York City is so complicated. We're doing blended learning. Fingers crossed schools stay open and they can keep doing it. But at this point, they're in school physically 1 to 2 days a week and then remote learning the other days. So we will see. We'll see how it goes. Hi, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Mandy, since you read a lot of books at the same time, how do you choose which one to pick up? when I read multiple books, I tend to put my least favorite on the back burner until I finish the better one. Oh, okay. So this is a good question. So for me, a lot of it just has to do with format. And this is why I usually have about 3 books I'm reading. I'll have an ebook, a physical book, and an audiobook. And which one I'm reading, sometimes it has to do with mood if I get like really sucked into one, but most of the time it's what's most convenient. So I always have an audiobook going that I can do when I'm multitasking. Physical books, usually I mostly read physical books at night when my kids are asleep. It's just the older they get, the harder it is to read physical books while they're awake and needing stuff. That's usually going to be either an ebook or an audiobook. And so for me, that's kind of how I pick what I'm reading, is just like, because I read throughout my day. So my physical book is going to be something I'm going to be reading in the evening. Ebooks I might read in the morning or during the day. Audiobooks are kind of whenever I'm doing other stuff. So yeah. Romantic suspense fantasy. Oh, is this a book recommendation request? Oh, that's interesting. A romantic suspense fantasy. I am gonna have to give that some thought. I like could think of a couple of like romantic, like historical romantic suspenses. Like The Princess Plan by Julia London is a historical. It's not fantasy though, but it's like it has like a, it's not modern day, so it has a murder mystery element to it. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'll let you know if something comes to mind. An 18-month-old. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Props to you. That's amazing. What are your experiences in telling people IRL what you do? I've gotten much more comfortable with it over time. And it is interesting, I think, because especially living where I live and being a parent, it can sometimes be a little interesting because we're in New York City where people tend to have kids much later in life. And so I have 2. I'm 33, which in some places is, on the older side. Like where we lived previously, we were in Pittsburgh for 2 years, and there, like all the new moms were like in their early 20s, and I was a new mom at 27. Here, I'm a good decade younger than most of the other parents of kids. And so that can sometimes be a little bit interesting where like, oh, YouTube, okay. Because really that's like a lot of what I do right now is like I have a YouTube channel. I do some freelance work on the side, but like that's a lot of it. And maybe eventually I'll expand into other stuff, but right, especially with COVID and with the kids, you know, I don't know. So people either like think it's like if they're older, sometimes they'll think it's weird, sometimes they'll think it's cool. I don't know. I've gotten more comfortable just sharing it. So yeah, that's a lot of how I pick that. Elizabeth, do I like thrillers and horror? Yeah, I this year has been the year of me discovering what I like in horror, which has been interesting. And it's funny, like I have several horror novels that are now like on my favorites. This is like my favorites shelf of the year. And so this is interesting. Is I used to think I didn't like horror. And I have come to realize that is not true. I just like specific things in horror, and I have specific things I don't like. So I don't like sort of slasher stuff that is mostly just about like physical violence. I don't like possession stories. I like horror that uses horror as a way of talking about bigger issues. That's like tends to be what I really enjoy. And so I'm finding things that I like. So like The Year of the Witching, Mexican Gothic, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires are all fantastic. They're horror, but they're ones that really liked that, were good. Thrillers I do, but I tend not to pick them up. Like I like them, but in moderation. I think because if it's a horror, if it's I either dislike certain thrillers, or if it's a thriller I'm into, I have trouble putting it down, and I'll like, read much later at night than I should. And then I'm tired the next day and I have children. And so I do enjoy some of them. Like I've enjoyed a lot of stuff from Ruth Ware and some other people, but I like limit how frequently I read them because of that. So if that helps. Okay, so we've got like more questions. Can you tell us a little bit about how you started out as a booktuber? Yeah. So, and so when we moved to New York when I was pregnant with our second kid for my husband's job, and I had always worked before. I worked full time when we had one kid when we were living in Pittsburgh, and because of the cost of childcare in Manhattan, that just like wasn't an option anymore. And so I had our second kid in December and then was home full time with a toddler and an infant, which had never been my intention. And then for my birthday present to myself, like in May, so my youngest was, I don't know, 5 months old, I guess, 5.5 months old, I went to BookCon and I discovered that BookTube existed and was like, oh, so I had before that I had watched a lot of like family bloggers and geeky content and different things. I didn't know BookTube existed, and I'd always thought it would be cool to start a YouTube channel, but didn't really know what I would talk about. So when I went to BookCon and discovered BookTube existed, I was like, oh, I can do that. I love books. I can let's do that. And so like 2 weeks later, I started my YouTube channel, and it was one of the best decisions I've made. It was really, really great. And I made friends, and it's led to so many cool opportunities. And I've discovered that I really, really love YouTube. I love making videos and editing videos and reviewing books and all of this. And it's been fantastic. And so that was kind of how I got started. I'm the kind of person who tends to have an idea and then is like, let's just do this thing and we'll figure out the kinks later. And so that was what I did with YouTube. I didn't really know anything, didn't like know that much of what I was doing, but it was fun. It was great. I'm so glad I did it. And honestly, in hindsight, I was probably dealing with a little bit of postpartum depression, and it was part of, I think, what helped me like stay sane in this very different period of life and things that were going on. So, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, the Princess Plan was fun. I'll probably after this, Beth, think of something else for you, and if I do, I'll let you know. New mom in Pittsburgh. We moved there. We were there for 2 years, and we moved there when our oldest was 3 months old. We like to batch big life events, so it seems. But I have not read yet Such a Fun Age. It sounds really interesting. It's like kind of on my list of things I'd like to eventually get to at some point. No, I've not read it. How do you pick which readathon you're going to participate in? That's a good question. I don't participate in very many readathons, and even when I do, I probably am not that great at it just because I'm so busy at this point. But often it's like if I hear about something and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, and also some of the prompts fit books I was planning on reading anyway, or like that's a booktuber I want to support. I think that tends to be it, but I limit it. I don't do too many because it just gets to be a lot with everything else going on. Yes. Gotta love when you find the gateway into a genre you'd previously stayed away from. That's so true. Yeah, thrillers are hard to put down. I enjoy them, but I just, I gotta sleep. I have so much, so much else on my plate, but I do enjoy a good thriller. Um, oh, this is a question. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. I will get back to this. I had missed one. Yay! Oh, good. Mexican Gothic. I love Mexican Gothic. I'm glad it's doing so well. Yeah, it's awesome. That's good to hear. Okay, so hello, hi, coffee, cocktails, and books. How has my reading changed since joining the online book community? I think, it's much more structured. I've always been a big reader, but I think it's much more structured. And I think like the biggest thing that's changed is, well, I guess a few things have changed. Oh goodness. Well, for one, I didn't used to read romance. I thought it was like scandalous and like, oh, well, like that's I don't know. Like I didn't have positive thoughts about romance. And then when I joined BookTube and I started watching Mara, and then we ended up becoming friends. And I was like, oh, well, like she and some other people who are smart women who I respect, like read romance. I'm like, maybe it's not what I thought it was. I should give it a shot. And now it's like become one of my favorite genres. So that has changed. And then I think the bigger thing that's changed is my book shopping has really changed. And sometimes I miss being able to go to a bookstore and just browse and like randomly discover something that might not be great or might be amazing. Because now I go to a bookstore and I pretty much know, like I pretty much know a little something about almost everything I see. And so I sometimes miss like mystery and excitement of discovering something. Hey, Patrick. Hello. I will be reading Patrick's book very soon. That's exciting. Oh yeah, no, Mexican Gothic is horror. This is why I tried to say this in my book, in my review, because I think some people were expecting like a Gothic romance, and I was like, yeah, this is not a Gothic romance. You're not going to be getting what you expect. This is horror. So yeah, might be too familiar. Oh, such a fun age. Okay, interesting. Good to know. Yes. Positively or negative. Oh, okay. Yes. Yep. That was kind of that question. Somebody's asking about the giveaway. Yeah, for anybody who's newer on here, I'll post the link again. Here's the link if you are on the live stream to enter the giveaway for Scavenge the Stars, signed by Tara Sim. And you can also comment below when this is over with your email and say you want to be entered for a chance for anybody to win Forest of a Thousand Lanterns and Sweet Black Waves. So that's the giveaway. Throwing that out there again in case I know some people are new. I know all the secrets. I don't know if that's about the books, but maybe, yeah. Yeah, it does. It really changes the book shopping. Sometimes if I go to a used bookstore, I can still and I'm looking at like older titles that are not new, I can still do it, but it's different. I look at things, I'm like, yeah, I know about that. I know about that. It's just, yeah. It's a different experience, but it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, because I used to do that. And you know what's funny too? I also used to binge read authors and series. Like I would find an author I liked and I would just read everything I could find at the library or wherever from them, and then try to find another author until I saw one of their books came out again. Also, I didn't know when books were releasing. I just waited for the library to have them. So I think that's a lot of the things that have kind of changed. This is exactly it. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it does, and sometimes that can be fun, checking out older books. And sometimes I'll do that, go and kind of browse fantasy section or something, and I don't know. The literary definition of Gothic. I don't know. Bridget, you'll have to explain this. Hey, thanks, Isabel. Thank you. If you guys don't follow her, you should, especially if you're a romance reader, because she does really fantastic monthly Romance Landia news updates, and I live for them now. They're one of my new favorite things. Hey, Jessica. Hello. Oh, it's great to see people. Okay, let's do this, and then I'll get back to some of the other questions I had from earlier. You can sort of do this with self-pub stuff, but you can't go into the yeah, it's hard unless it's a used bookstore with some older things. It's just different. It is. It's what is happening? Why is my flashlight on my phone somehow turned off? I don't know what happened. Okay, I had one other question from Instagram, and then I have Twitter questions. So Ariel Reeds asked, what has been your family friends reaction to being on BookTube? Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, I think they think it's cool. My family likes, I don't know. I think they're proud of me for just being consistent with it and sticking with it. They're like, oh, it's cool that you're doing that and it keeps growing and going well. I'm kind of in this interesting situation because where I think they might occasionally watch some of my stuff, but I don't think they regularly watch all my videos, partly because I'm I don't know, a lot of my family members are very conservative. So I'm not sure if they actually watch that much of my content, but some of it. And some of them watch my Instagram stories. And so I don't know. But yeah, positive. It hasn't been negative. So yeah. Hey, Jessica. Still browsing at local indie until recently. Yeah. Yeah, with COVID, that's tricky. I've been probably less careful recently, but also where we are used to be really, really bad. And now we have one of the lowest levels of cities here. Oh, good. Yay, Margaret. Glad you're already following her. She's great. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, Mexican Gothic. People are confused. They seem to think it's going to be romance, and maybe it's because it's a girl with a dress on the cover. I don't know. Another related problem that seems to happen, and I see this all the time, and I find it irritating, is when women write horror, sci-fi, fantasy, people always assume it's YA, even when it's not. And like frequently I'll be like, someone would be like, yeah, this is YA and it was so much. I'm like, yeah, that's not YA. That's adult. That's why it is what you're saying. So, check that. I don't know why people assume that women writing in genre fiction are writing YA. Like, okay. Okay. Like my little soapbox there. How do you balance reading so much with mom, wife life, freelance stuff, and Patreon? Yeah, good question. So freelance stuff I've not been doing much of it since COVID. So there is that. I think I just kind of like filter it into everything. So I'll have books going when my kids don't need me, but then when they do, I try to be present for it. And then my husband and I have one evening a week where we don't work, we don't do anything else, we spend time together. So whether it's like watching a TV show or talking or whatever, we do that like one night a week to make sure that we're spending time together. Aside from just like managing the children and like, oh yeah, this is why we got married and we still like each other. So that helps a lot. I think having things worked into the schedule. With Patreon, I think part of what's helpful for it is building it into things that I normally do anyway. So like doing the book club and stuff is cool because I already read a lot of books. And so it's not so challenging for me to build that into my workflow, if that makes any sense. And I don't know. At some point I've had the idea of doing a vlog where I do kind of like day in the life type stuff of like what does my day look like. It's one of those things that like I've been meaning to do for months and then haven't. So maybe at some point I'll do something like that. Same with family and content creation. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. There's things we don't talk so much about. So yeah. Yep. Gender gap. It's a problem. People assume women are writing for teenagers because they think it's like less literary or whatever, I guess. Hey, Jess! Good to see you. Recently started pulling some books back out of my unhaul boxes that I meant to drop off, but then COVID hit and was pleasantly surprised. Oh, interesting. Given an unhauled book a second chance. Uh, I don't know specifically if I've given it a second chance, but I will say I have a few books that are like soft unhauls where they're not on my main bookshelves, but I'm like not sure if I'm fully ready to DNF and unhaul them yet. And so books like that, yeah. And I might like if I hear something where someone's like, "No, but you really need to read this thing." I would be open to it, but I haven't so much. So I know, right? Women writing more than YA and smutty. I mean, yeah. Oh, good. Oh, good. I'm so glad. That's great to hear. Hey, Cami, thank you. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Oh goodness, yeah. Don't even, guys. Don't get me started. Hi, Brandy. Thanks. It's so fun to see everybody in here. Oh my goodness. All right. Hello. More people are popping in. Okay, so I'm gonna put in the link one more time. I mean, I could do it again later too, but if you're in the live stream and you haven't yet, here's the link to enter the giveaway specifically for live stream people, and then the other giveaway is in the comments for everybody. So exciting. Sorry to hear that. Hope things get better. Just what? I don't know. Don't typically unhaul anything I haven't at least tried. I have. I think, you know what? I don't so much anymore, but I think I went a little wild when I first started YouTube and probably bought way more books than I normally would have bought, including some things that like later on I was like, am I really still interested in reading that thing? And so I unhauled them. But now that's much less common. So I don't do as much of that. Okay. One more question here, and then I'll get back to the Twitter questions. From the authors you've met, who are your favorites? Oh, goodness. Okay, I have one that was like really cool. And actually, okay, you know what? This is a good answer to a Twitter question too. So I'm going to do these together. So I had a Twitter question from Book Diva 401 asking, what book will you treasure for life? And one that is really cool that has to do with this is my arc of In an Absent Dream by Shauna McGuire. Just because this was, oh, sorry, this was just like a really, really cool experience. I met her, where was it? Was it at Comic-Con? I think it was in New York Comic-Con a year ago, or before this. I guess it would have been, 2018. Wow, was it really that long ago? Okay, so 2018 at New York City Comic-Con, I met Shauna McGuire, and she was doing a signing for a totally different book, and I had brought all my Wayward Children books, which I love. I was like, would you please sign them for me? And she did, and then she was like, oh, I have one more of these left. Would you want it? And I was like, yes, please. Oh my goodness. And it was just amazing. She was really, really wonderful. And so like she signed those, so I will so that's an answer to the Twitter question, but that was a really cool that was a cool author experience. I've met a lot of authors right now or now that are really great. Danielle Clayton is really lovely and smart, and also she's a fantastic moderator. So if any of you guys are ever looking for somebody to moderate bookish panels, she's wonderful. She's funny and does a really good job of moderating stuff. I've seen her at like a bunch of events. I gotta think about, I don't know if there's others. I met Patrick Rothfuss at a Comic-Con once and was super awkward. I was a little starstruck and I was like, I don't know what I said. I was like, hi, can I take a picture? He was like, yeah, sure. And I took a really awkward picture. And I was like, I didn't say almost anything. It was super awkward. That was something else. But yeah, I've met a lot of really good. Um, oh, Margaret's asking, Danielle Clayton is a really good moderator, author of The Bells. She's a YA author from New York. She's really, really good. Yeah, those. 200 books, but yeah, this is what happens. You just like buy all the books. Well, I think for me too, I had always been really cautious with buying them, and I was like, now I have a reason to buy all the books my heart ever desired. And it's like, no, no. Um, how do you go about deciding if you're going to pick up a problematic book or a book from a problematic author? Oh goodness. You know, that is tricky. I think for me it probably depends on why they're problematic and how they've responded to those issues and what they've done about it. And if a book is being claimed to be problematic, it depends. Like if it's really widespread, everybody agrees this is an issue versus if there are some people seeing it, then I might be more likely to pick it up and see how it does. Um, there are authors who I had books on my TBR that I've unhauled in the recent drama that came up with like the SFF um, stuff that came out. There were a couple people who had behaved very poorly in terms of Me Too issues and sexual harassment. And I was like, oh, well, that is one less book on my TBR that I will need to read. So it depends. I think everybody's got to decide for themselves, like what does and doesn't hit that threshold of wanting to pick things up, and then, just be aware of what you're doing, I guess. Oh, yeah. You know what? I did meet her one time. She is super nice. Yeah, there's a lot of really great authors. I mean, some are not, but There's a lot of really, really nice ones. Hi. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the comments too. And it's fun too, because like I do end up recognizing people from the comments eventually, but thank you. I'm glad you came and hung out and commented on here. I appreciate that. Yes. Sean McGuire is wonderful. I love her a whole lot. Yeah. It was a really good author experience. That definitely was one of my favorites. Oh no, I'm sorry. I hope things get better. That's rough. Meeting Victoria Schwab made you starstruck the first time. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay, so fun thing with Victoria Schwab. I think my second book con, I was in line at Starbucks and I saw her behind me in line, like a few people behind me, and I was like, "You're Victoria Schwab. Can I take a picture with you?" And she was like super nice and like, "Yeah, totally." So I took a selfie with Victoria Schwab. It was great. She was really nice. I've met her several times at signings and she's always really, really wonderful, actually. Like even one time they were supposed to limit how many books we could get signed. And I wasn't gonna ask her. I just like had all my books with me. She was like, "Oh, well, do you want me to sign those too?" I was like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. I was like, "Okay, thanks." So she's very, very, very lovely. Um, Getting a book signed by Diana Gabaldon. Okay, I could see that. She's a big deal. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Is the book you really like Mara Dwyer? Oh, Mara Dyer. Would I recommend it for a high school freshman? Hmm. Yeah, the unbecoming of is it the unbecoming of Mara Dyer, I think. It depends on the high school freshman, I guess. It's um it's a more intense one. So it really depends on your high school freshman. Like if they're a more mature one, then maybe. One series that I would recommend for that age though is the Brooklyn Brujas series by Zoraida Cordova are really, really good. And they're like, I think they're good for younger teens. So maybe try those if she's looking for something that's like fantasy. And I can give some thought to like if you're looking for specific other things, what it would be. Found BookTube, started Bookstagram, out of book budget for the rest of the year, and maybe next. Yeah, yeah. And this is what happens. It levels out eventually, but plenty of books you'll not run out. That is so true. What's the book budget? What's that? Oh goodness gracious. Was she wearing her cat ears? Oh, that's a good question. In that first picture, I don't know if she was. Maybe she's been wearing them most of the times I've seen her, but I'm not sure if she was in that first picture actually. Maybe not. Oh, I could see that being entertaining, actually. They're both really entertaining individually. I've met both of them, but not together, and I've heard them both talk, and it's been fun. I love it. Past Holly Black and Slightly Freaked Out. Oh yay. Yeah, I've had some like awkward early author encounters. You know who's really great too is Susan Dennard, who's the author of the Witchland series. I love her. I don't know if she remembers this, but like I think the first time I saw her was super awkward because like I don't know, I feel like it was really weird. But like later on I've met her and chatted with her and like she's been really, really great. We're supposed to do an interview and then things like it's fine. Maybe one day. That would be fun. I love her series. Thank you, Monica. Thanks. I appreciate that. Maybe one day, Ashley. Maybe one day. Do I ever I do DNF. Yes, I do. And actually, this year I started tracking my DNFs. So I have I have a sheet on my reading spreadsheet that tracks all of my DNFs. So I can actually tell you how many books I have DNF'd this year. Given how many I read, it's actually not that many. Like I have read, I'm like pulling up my spreadsheet here. Okay, so I have read 260 books this year so far. I know it's a lot, guys. I know. And I have DNF'd 13. So if somebody wants to do the math on that, 13 out of 261, like my percentages are pretty good. But yes, I do DNF books. If I'm hating it or if I am just really uninterested, it depends too. But yeah, yes, I will DNF things. I didn't used to. highly recommend getting comfortable DNFing books. It's great. If it's something where I'm like, I don't care what happens. I don't even need to know the ending of this book. And I feel relieved if I decide to stop reading it, then I know I've made a good choice. It's kind of like what it is. Oh, that's fun. 2.3 billion musicians immune to starstruckness. Fair enough. Yeah. I've met a few people that were kind of cool. One time actually back in the day, when the Guild was still running, I met Felicia Day and the cast of the Guild, which was very exciting, and also got a very low quality selfie with her on a very old phone with bad camera, but that was cool. That was very exciting. Blase air indeed, yes. Hi, Terrell. Thank you. Appreciate that. How do you feel if some of your favorite books were written by a problematic author? Will you still love them and discuss them in BookTube? Well, truthfully, will I still love them? Probably. Will I discuss them on BookTube? No. The reason I know this is I have a couple of examples of this, of problematic authors who've written books that I really love and have loved for a long time. One of them might be obvious, but one is maybe less. Because I don't talk about their books. So no, I don't discuss them on BookTube. And I think a lot of it is if it's egregious to the point where discussing them could be hurtful to people who I know are watching my content. I don't ever want to do that, especially intentionally. And so I just won't talk about it. So yeah. So yes, I might still love the books and I just might not talk about them or add to their finances, basically. Jessica, where are you meeting all these musicians? Like, that's what I want to know. Barbara Hamley. I don't know who she is, but that's great. Oh, thank you guys. 5%, 4.98. Okay, yeah. So I DNF 5% of the books I'm reading, which is I'm good with that. Oh, good question. What has been my most disappointing book? Okay, probably my most disappointing book that I've read this year was Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. That was real disappointing because I loved the first book and I know not everybody does. But yeah, I don't know what happened. It was not great. And then this month, I haven't talked about it yet, so sneak preview, I guess. But I had a disappointing book that was like on my most anticipated list. What is it? The Orphan of Cemetery Hill by Hester Fox. I really, really loved her first two books. And like the third one, I was like, I think I gave it 2.5 stars. I was like, it was okay. It wasn't great, which that was a disappointment. But I would say Children of Virtue and Vengeance was definitely my most disappointing one. Okay, well, wow, okay, cool. So yeah, most disappointing, again, definitely Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Best book that I've read. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, this is very hard to decide, but I will say the book that I think emotionally has stuck with me the most, interestingly enough, is probably this one, To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers, which not everybody even loves. It's a sci-fi novella. It's not very long, but I just like had such big feelings about this book and it has really stuck with me. So yeah, like here are these are like my favorite books that I have read this year, and this is probably near the top. But it's always really hard to pick for sure. Oh shoot, I'm like losing the comments here. Okay, let me scroll up. Hold on. You haven't met her? Oh, Jessica. Oh my goodness. Okay, she's great. She's wonderful. I can't believe you haven't met her. You're like a bigger fan than I am almost. You have like everything. It's exciting. The Guild. I love The Guild. If you guys haven't seen it, it's great. It's like a fantastic web series, geeky web series. I should rewatch it one of these days. Have I listened to Oh yeah, so I listened to her first book and I really enjoyed it. And I started her more recent one about like creativity and I've been liking it, but then I kind of like put it to the side and haven't returned to it, but at some point I want to read that too. Oh, yeah. When to Watch is not great. Not my worst book, but I have a 17-minute rant about it, so I am with you there. Oh my goodness. Did you used to watch sitcoms starring people of color while growing up in the 90s? Yeah, I did actually. Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I watched those frequently. Those were great. Big Summer. I had somebody else maybe it was you. I don't know. Somebody recommended that to me in the comments recently, or was it on Goodreads? I can't remember, but somebody recommended that one to me. That's great. I'm glad to hear it was good. Happy First Day of Fall. The one romance trope I don't know that I wish anybody read more of anything. I just want people to find tropes that they like, I guess, and read more of whatever that is. Biggest surprise of the year. Oh, interesting. Like, do I have something on here? Okay, I would say maybe this. Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. I didn't have really any expectations for it, and I ended up really loving it. And this is another one. I mean, well, okay, look, a lot of books I love are polarizing. This is another one that seems to be polarizing, but I loved it. And it's her first book for adults, and I was a fan. So that was a surprise, because I was like, oh, this could be fun, and then I ended up being like, this is awesome. I love it so much. Yeah, I'm guessing this is about children of virtue and vengeance, and yes. Yeah, I will DNF series also sometimes. Yanks the other steampunk romance books off your want to read shelf. Oh goodness, that's funny. Yeah, I'll DNF series too if I'm like, the first book was fine. I don't really care enough to read on in it. That happens pretty frequently, I guess. Interesting. I did not know that. Did not know that, Jessica. Cool. Her self-help audiobook. Oh, yes. I listened to part of it and then I've not finished it. So, but I like what I've read. It's interesting. It's good. Yeah, the memoir was good. It was really, really entertaining. She's great. Okay. Hambly has written a few good series: Time of the Dark for fantasy, and the Benjamin January historical mysteries that start with a free man of color. Cool. Okay. Good to know. Thank you. Hi, Death of Vivek Oji. Oh, yeah, see, that's on my TBR. I was so like, yeah, I'm gonna read it this month, and then I've just been catching up with all of my NetGalley arcs. That's been my month. I really wanted to read it this month. I am going to at some point. I have it. I have like a physical copy. I hear good things. I want to read from them. Oh, cool. Court of Miracles. Thought it would be good, but it was fantastic. Oh, cool. That's great. I've not heard much about that one. That's good. I always love it when something is a pleasant surprise. That's a good feeling. Oh my goodness. Yeah, You're Never Weird on the Internet. That's her first memoir. So I really liked it also, but that's cool. I'm glad it had a positive effect. What type of retelling would you like to read or no longer read? Okay, for no longer read, I will say this. I am hard sell on a Beauty and the Beast retelling anymore. I love Beauty and the Beast, and I used to read all the retellings, and then there were a lot of mediocre ones, and so I kind of tend to avoid them now. What kind of retelling would I like to read? Um, I love a good villain backstory. I think they're so fun. This is part of why this is one of my favorite books, and part of that giveaway is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns. I just think it's so interesting to see how villains become villains if they make them interesting, complex characters. I think they're great. Moesha, Steve Harvey, Sister Sister. Yeah, Sister Sister was a good one. I watched Moesha occasionally. I feel like I was a little young for that one, so I wasn't like supposed to watch it, but I still did occasionally, and it was good. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't watch that much TV, but there was a lot of really good in terms of stuff in terms of sitcoms back in the 90s like that. Thanks for hanging out, Margaret. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Happy writing. Best of luck. Yeah, they added a bunch of stuff to Netflix recently, actually, which is cool. Good night, Jess. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Oh, have I read the Once Upon a Con series? Yes, I love them. They're great. Quirk Books very kindly keeps sending them to me too. I have like a paperback copy of The Princess and the Fangirl for a giveaway if I ever get to like the next milestone on Instagram. So yeah, they're wonderful. I really love the first two books. The third one I liked too. And this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I liked what she did with it. I thought it was fun. She did a pretty good job with it. But yeah. Okay, let me see. I had a couple of other questions on Twitter. Blackish, yes. Thank you, Damien. That's a great example. Yeah, Blackish is great and smart. I agree. It's a good call. I think a lot of stuff is just going other places. Like Netflix has some other like what was Dear White People on Netflix is another good one. Okay. Amanda from the Naughty Librarian on Twitter asked, "What's your favorite fantasy book you read this year?" Oh goodness, favorites are so hard, guys. What is my favorite fantasy book? I don't know. Ah. Oh gosh. Okay, well, I don't know if this is like a favorite of the year because I liked a few of them, but I really like Sunland Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. It's really interesting and has such a unique world. I heard about this from Holly Hart's books originally and really, really ended up liking it. Chain of Gold, but like everybody reads Kathy Clare anyway, but it was really good. I liked it a lot. Ray Bear by Jordan E. Fueco is really oh, and Lobie Zona. Okay, well let's just talk about this. Why not? This one also it's beautiful. Really, really liked this. This is part urban fantasy, part portal fantasy with a female werewolf, and it's dealing with bigger issues, but it also is just like it's a really good book, and it's so pretty. This was a really good one. Look at that. I love when they do cool stuff under the covers. Yeah, I read that last year, but yes, I did really like Empire of Sand. It was one of my favorite fantasies that I read. It was at the end of last year, so COVID, everything runs together. But yeah, that was a really good one. Thanks, Ashley. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Lobie Zona is so good for October. I agree. Thank you. I'm glad everybody's coming to hang out. This is cool. And then Charlotte, a question: would you rather read a historical romance about a rich duke or a good earl gone bad? I don't. Oh goodness. I mean, I guess a rich duke. I don't know. I don't know that I have like a strong preference on that one. Okay, I had another question from Twitter. This is from Billy Justice. Is there a book you want to recommend when people randomly ask, but the title likes to elude you? So I feel like this sometimes happens to me with the fifth season by N.K. Jemisin. People like ask for a recommendation, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then later I'm like, I should have recommended the fifth season because that's always a good recommendation all the time. And sometimes I forget. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I will say like it's it's like a specific art style. It's not like my favorite cover, but I get why people like it too. But yeah, the book is really, really good. Deliveries in Argentina are taking over a month. Oh, from Argentina. Oh wow. Oh goodness. That's a long time. Beach read, I hear good things about. Where Dreams Descend is great. I'm slowly doing a reread of it, and it's awesome. Okay. Oh, Vanessa, hey, what types of romance books do you read? I still haven't found ones that I like. Oh, interesting. You know, uh, I think it would be interesting to try to see if we could find something that you would like, depending on what other kinds of books you read. I read, um, I don't know. I read a few different I read a lot of different types of things. In general, I find that my favorite romances are either romantic comedies or books that are romances that also talk about bigger themes. This is part of why I push Alyssa Cole on so many people. I love her books. She does great romances that also have like meatier thematic content that she's digging into. But I think it just really depends on what you like. Like, would you rather read contemporary? Would you rather read a fantasy? Would you rather read? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see if I can, tell me a little bit about your reading taste, and I'll see if I can like pick a romance for you to try. That would be a good, a fun thing to do. Yes, 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 yes. Lobizona is from an Argentine author. Yeah. Oh, cool. Also Argentinian. That's exciting. Yeah, she's Argentine. You know who else I think is I think her family actually is originally Argentine as well, is Sarah Faring, author of The 10th Girl, and her newest book that came out today, White Fox. So shout out to Sarah and White Fox. So that could be something if you like YA horror or whatever. Okay, what else do we got here? So that's cool. Are some contemporary yeah, of course. I mean, of course, some contemporary romances are meant to be sweet and heartwarming, for sure. I mean, there's like a whole line, sorry. There's a whole line of Harlequin inspirational sweet romances. Oh, thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's been kind of a flurry of new people, which is really exciting. It's fun when new people are finding you. My favorite true slow burns. Okay. Speaking of Alyssa Cole, A Duke by Default is a really good slow burn romance. Oh goodness. I mean, Pride and Prejudice. I have to think if I think of anything else off the top of my head, but those are a couple of good ones. Talia Hibbert. I love Talia Hibbert, but I feel like she's also a specific flavor, like doesn't work for everybody. You ever given an author a second chance? Yeah, definitely. I think frequently if they have another book that sounds like I would enjoy it, I will. Yeah. Fantasy, paranormal romance as long as okay, Vanessa, I have a book for you that's a really good crossover. Hold on. You should try this one if you haven't yet. Rain and Ruin by J.D. Evans. It has great world building, a strong fantasy plot, and a strong romance plot. It's like half fantasy, half romance, but is genre romance. I think you should try this and see if you like it. If you like this, that could be a good entry point into fantasy romance. That is my recommendation for you. Oh, another, though, slow burn, Marriage of Convenience fantasy romance that I would recommend is Radiance by Grace Draven. So try those. Yeah. Yes. Bridget recently read this. I'm telling you guys, JD Evans, she does not promote herself the way she should. Her book is so, so good. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you, Selma. I appreciate that. So far I'm really enjoying The Bone Shard Daughter. I am like I can see it over there. I'm reading it. It's really interesting. Like the magic system is very interesting and I'm intrigued as to what's happening. One thing I will say about it is there's several perspectives you're following, and so it's a little slow to like get going with the plot, but I'm liking it. I'm liking everything I'm reading, so I'm curious to see where it goes. The longest book I've read so far. I don't know. I think I can tell you, I can go to my Goodreads and tell you the longest book I've read so far this year. Thank you, Goodreads. This is part of why I do like Goodreads, is it does like some cool stuff for you. This is fun. I'm so glad so many people came to hang out because I was like, oh, I hope people come and ask questions. So thanks, everybody. It's been great. All right, hold on. So far, so far the longest book I've read this year is 1,152 pages. It is Shogun by James Clavell. I read this as a Patreon book pick. Sydney won. So my patrons like get entered into a raffle every month, and one of them gets to pick a book they want to see me read and review. And that was the one I read. I liked it, actually. It was very long, but I did like it. I think I gave it 4 stars. So Yay! Oh, good. I hope you enjoy it. Talia Hibbert's great, Vanessa, but very much on the steamy side, contemporary romance. But I do really like her, and she's great diversity. Like she's got some good stuff. Um, oh, of course, yeah. Plenty of YA contemporaries deal with other stuff. I just don't read very many of them because I'm like less interested in that. But yeah, for sure. Yay! Oh, I can answer this question because I did it last month. What book did I DNF the quickest? What was it called? The Wrong, the Wrong Mr. Darcy by Evelyn Lozada and Holly Lawrence. Had an e-arc of it. I DNF'd it after the first chapter, which I have never done before. I knew going in it might not be great, but like, oh my goodness, it was so bad. The writing was terrible, and it was like cringy and offensive just in chapter one. And I was like, no, I am based on the reviews. That's it. I don't think I've ever, yeah. I usually give a book like 50 to 100 pages, but nope, no. Yay! Oh, good. Yeah, she's an indie, like self-published author. She's really good. There's 3 books in the series so far. I haven't read the other ones, but I need to. I want to. It just hasn't happened yet. Yeah, she could definitely ask around. Definitely could ask around more or like promote her. She admits she's not, JD Evans not great at self-promotion. She's great with it. Yeah, her books are good. Okay, so I had one other question on Twitter. This is really hard though. I don't know if I can answer this. I'm gonna think about this. So I have maybe some of you in the comments can help me with this. Vicky Fellers said, sum up your life or your reading life by using favorite book titles to create the sentences of your summary. Oh my goodness, this is like a whole challenge on its own. I don't know. Like, oh, geez. Yeah, that is really, really challenging. I don't know if I can do that, guys. I need more brain power, but it's a cool idea. Somebody could do that for like an actual challenge. I don't know if I can do this. Thoughts on the cover for the next Emily Wimberly Austin Siegmund Broca. I am not that invested in it. It looks fine. I know there are people who have very strong feelings about this, but you know, I like the book of theirs that I read. I want to read more of them at some point. Any new series you are highly anticipating sequels of? Oh, yeah. I mean, Lobizona and Raybearer both. I am hopeful that the sequels will be good. I liked both of them. I'm curious to see where they go next. Chain of Gold also. What else? I don't know. I recently bought Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin. It's the sequel to Serpent and Dove, and I'm hoping it's good. I really liked Serpent and Dove as a fantasy romance, but sequels can sometimes be hit or miss, so we'll see. Hi, thanks, JD. If I had to guess how much my books weigh, oh my God, I don't even know. A lot, a lot. I mean, I have so many books. Jeez, I don't even know how to estimate that. I mean, like, what would a shelf weigh? I mean, a shelf is probably what made like okay, let's say that a shelf is like 25 pounds. It's like a rough estimate. I probably have okay, let me just see math. That's very challenging. I have like 3 main bookshelves and then a couple other smaller ones. So I have okay, what like 5 shelves of each of the main bookshelves. That's 15 shelves plus the equivalent of like 4 more probably. It's like 19. What is that? Okay, we're gonna say like somewhere around 500 pounds, something like that. You did. That's kind of hard. I'm gonna guess 500 pounds. It might be more. I don't know. This is like a very rough guess. Can my life story book title sentence just be fable? That's That's good. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? Let's go with Spellslinger because I read a lot of fantasy and I have been since I was very young. I like the one word, one title as an option. That's good. Is there a standalone I wish had a sequel or a spin-off? Oh, that's a good question. Like what? Like let me look behind me and see. The Year of the Witching. I mean, maybe she will. It's her debut, but I would read a spin-off. It would be great. And maybe not a sequel, but a spin-off to The Year of the Witching. It was a really, really good book and very interesting world. I would read more in that world. Which historical romance books would you want to recommend to fans of Disney princess movies? Oh, geez. Ooh. Hmm. I don't know about that. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have a good answer for that question. What's the first book you can remember having an impact on you? Oh, Bridge to Bear Terabithia. Interesting. Hmm. I guess it depends on how you define impact. I think probably my answer would be in general the Chronicles of Narnia. My parents bought me the series for my 7th birthday, and I loved those books and read and reread them. And I definitely think they were my gateway into reading fantasy in general. And so I would say that. Ooh, exciting. The Year of the Witching is getting a sequel. That's very exciting. Awesome. Yay. I will probably read it. It is a good debut too. It's a very I'm so surprised it's a debut. Okay. Any other questions, things you'd like to hear from me, book recommendations while I'm on here? We have favorite books or series of all time. Okay. Let's see. So for adult like sci-fi fantasy, the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin is definitely a favorite. It is brilliant and amazing and so good, and one that I would want to reread at some point. Um, oh goodness. I mean, the Chronicles of Narnia has like a special place in my heart. I also really love the Shadowhunter books by Cassandra Clare. I love the world she created. Like, not all of the individual books are amazing, but some of the characters and the world just, I don't know, it feels so vivid to me. And I think I really love those. Um, I mean, there's a lot of individual books that I love. The Starless Sea was my favorite book of last year and definitely an all-time favorite. The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss is incredible. Um, a series that I've revisited several times and continue to love is The Song of the Lioness Quartet by Tamora Pierce. Another one I read for the first time when I was probably like 12 or something, and have reread that series several times. And they just hold up as incredible fantasy that kind of spans middle grade. And by the last book is maybe kind of YA-ish. So there's a few, there's some answers for you. What country or environment do you wish more stories were written in? I don't know. I mean, I think I like that we're getting more diversity. I think for a while things were more similar to each other, and we're starting to see a wider variety of settings and locations being published, which I think is great. So I don't know if there's something specific I would want to see more of, but I'm happy that's happening. Oh, goodness. Turkish Delight. Yeah. You know what? I did not. Oh, I don't know if I've still tried Turkish Delight. I didn't know what it was for a long time. And then maybe I tried it once. I don't know. But yeah, I hear you on that. That's, that's, it takes you to another world. It really does. Literary fiction books I've enjoyed. Yeah. I'm trying to think like what would be some good. There definitely have been. It's One that I really loved, and this is kind of a literary historical fiction from last year, was The Court Dancer by Kyung-Suk Shin. That I thought was just beautiful. It had a lot to say about identity and colonization and was really interesting. I have more and probably better answers, but that's kind of the thing that comes to mind initially. One fantasy series you've loved, not enough other people read. Well, I recently made a video telling people they should go read the YA fantasy series. It starts with Black Wings Beating. I feel like it's really underrated, and I love it. I think it's great. If you could read in other languages, what would you like to read? Oh goodness. Um, oh, I don't know. I don't know if there's something, I mean, like in terms of there being something not translated, I'm not sure I have anything specific, but I actually used to speak some Arabic. I don't remember very much of it anymore, but that was kind of cool trying to read some like low level stuff in that. And at one point, I wanted to be able to read more in it, and then life kind of got in the way of that. But it would be cool to be able to read in other languages as well. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's a huge loss. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, I mean, a lot could be said on that, but I think it is a major loss. She's been a huge figure in history, and the timing is less than ideal, but I also think that's a lot to carry on your shoulders, with your death and knowing the impact it's going to have. So I hope people just don't give up, like I hope people will carry on, and I think that's the legacy she would have wanted to have, is like, and I'll just say this, like if you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote and vote. Like that's huge if you're an American. If you're not, even vote if you can, but especially here for sure. Am I still working on reading translated works? It's not a specific goal this year, but I still kind of would like to read more of them. Any new favorites? Um, oh, we have a siren coming. Shoot, there was something that I read recently that was translated and I really liked it. And no, it is escaping me, Brandy. I could look at my spreadsheet. Am I like keeping track of translators? I know I read something. I've not been good about this. Like I really would like to read more translated works than I do. Oh, I forgot okay. So one I read that was interesting, I had like mixed feelings about it a few months back, was 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. I would like to read more from him because it was brilliant in a lot of ways, but maybe not the best place to start with him. And so I would like to try something not so incredibly lengthy in the future and see how I get on with him. Um, what? I am confused. What this refers to. Hazelnut or pistachio? I'm not sure what. Oh, Turkish delights. Turkish delight is terrible. Okay, got it. I was like, what? Hazelnut or pistachio? Got it. Yeah, isn't it like a jelly thing or something? I've not really had it. Um, yes, I do a monthly book haul. I have one filmed and edited that will be going up sometime in the next couple weeks. So yeah, I do one every month. Um, Partly because I get things sent to me, and I have hosted this conversation on my channel about consumerism, and I do try to limit, especially this year, how many things I'm purchasing for myself. Although this month I had more because I had a bunch of store credit from things I sold back, so you guys can see that. But I also see it as kind of a service of making people aware of books that are coming out or whatever. So yeah, I do a monthly book haul. Their size varies a little bit, but favorite indie authors. So I would have said Talia Hibbert, although she is no longer just an indie author, but her indie stuff is fantastic for romance. JD Evans is really good. She's an indie author. Um, who, Kennedy Ryan is quickly becoming a new favorite. And who was I just reading? I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet again because I swear my spreadsheet and Goodreads saved my life. I read something. Okay, so we could talk about this. If you guys saw my vlog recently with Mara giving me, we did like a TBR swap, and one of the books that she gave me was a book by Ruby Dixon, who's a romance author, an indie romance author who is kind of known for like fairly out there, over the top, campy erotic romances. And I really enjoyed the one Mara sent me, and so I decided yesterday, I guess, to try the thing that she's best known for, which is Ice Planet Barbarians. It was a ride. Like, I didn't hate it. For me, probably more of a one-off. I think I'm going to try some of her other series. I'm not sure that one is particularly for me, but she is interesting. Like, if you're looking for really maybe weird, but over the top and self-aware, campy romances, she's an interesting one. So I've only read 2 of her books at this point, but they're something else. Okay, somebody does not like this. Oh, I see this down here. I did finish Ice Planet Barbarians. I mean, it is a ride. I read the first one. It was funny. I don't know that I would read more of that one specifically, but I really liked the one she gave me was The King's Spinster Bride. That I really enjoyed. And from talking to Mara, I think I might enjoy some of her other series more. So I want to read more from her because I like the comedic, campy, self-aware approach to things, but I'm not sure if that series is necessarily my favorite. Oh, goodness gracious. What would you read first? Ha! I've not read Home Before Dark yet. It's going to be on my TBR for next month. I mean, it kind of depends on what you want. So Ninth House is going to be slower going. I would recommend the audiobook if you do audiobooks for that one. I think I really liked it, but people have mixed feelings about it. There's a lot of emphasis on like the Yale campus and the secret societies, and some people find that boring. I liked it, but just kind of FYI, Mexican Gothic is probably your darkest, most horror of them. So if you really want horror that also deals with bigger issues like colonization and misogyny and stuff, that's a good one. When No One is Watching is fantastic. It is, I would call it like a light horror, and pacing very similar to if you saw Get Out. Like the plot is not the same, but the pacing is, where it's like a slow burn and then gets creepier and creepier as you go, dealing with gentrification. Also fantastic. So I don't know if that helps, but like maybe the descriptions can help you figure out what you're more in the mood for. Okay. Like a fancy jelly. Oh goodness, I don't like jelly very much, so I don't know if I would like it. That's funny. Okay, now we need to like try Turkish Delight and see how I feel about it. The difference between horror and a thriller. Well, some of it I think is pacing. I think a thriller is gonna often be faster paced, and horror might have more like supernatural elements to it sometimes, not always, but that's some of it. I like Halva. That's it's good. It's like a sesame. I think is it sesame, or is it it's no, it's made with tahini. Is that what it's from? It's like a sweet Middle Eastern thing that again is probably like not everybody likes it, but I like it. Yay, Home Before Dark. Yeah. I'm excited to try it. It's like the Patreon book club pick for October, so that should be fun. Rochelle Mills. I have not read Rochelle Mills. Cool. Oh no. I have not, but I need to. Okay, I need to write this down somewhere and go find it. I bet it's hilarious. I kind of need that in my life. I need to like see somebody talk about it. It is a wild series. I feel like my review is not going to be as entertaining because I try to like not get my videos demonetized, but I could see a good like discussion on that be very fun. Um, yeah, like I don't like the raunchiness is not so much my issue. Um, it's more that like there's not much other substance to it, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it's fine. Like I don't mind that so much if there's more to it. It's just I think the particular type of book that she's writing in that series with like these alpha males and the mating thing and whatever, it's fine. I just like don't love it, but I think I'm glad I tried it at least. I want to try. I forget what it's called, but I think When She Purrs is part of this other series, and those are also like alien romance things, but with marriage of convenience. And I really like a marriage of convenience plot, so I feel like maybe I'll get on better with that. So we'll see. Like dipping my toes into some of these like more out there authors. Uh, I mean, oh goodness, Jane Eyre is gothic romance. It's a genre romance, but with gothic elements and maybe some tragedy before you get to something happier. Um, I could give a more detailed explanation, but like it's probably too late for that. Oh wow, we've been on here for a while too, guys. I'm probably gonna go off on a little bit. Uh, light for a thriller. Interesting, isn't it? I think it's like a light ghost story or something. Yay! Hey, Isabella. Oh, good. I'm glad people enjoyed this. Okay, so since we're near the end, I'm going to post again. If you haven't seen it already, here's the link to enter the live stream only giveaway. There you go. I'll post that again. If you're on the live stream, there's a second giveaway that you can enter. There's the link. Interesting. Mistress of Melon. Cool. Awesome. Have to look into that. Oh, you haven't read anything else from Ruby Dixon? Okay, yeah, no, maybe check it out. And like, Brandy, maybe you try his Spinster Bride. I really liked it, and it made me laugh. Also, I thought it was pretty entertaining. So, yeah. Okay. Let me know if you have any final questions. And we've been on here for like an hour and a half, so I'm probably going to get off soon. But if you have any final things you want to know about, if you want to hear about what I'm reading or whatever, but this has been fun. And I'm so glad there were so many questions. You kind of never know, especially when it's last minute, like how many people are actually going to come on. But yeah, enter the giveaway again. The live stream. I have like stacks of books here now, guys. Live stream giveaway is a signed copy of Scavenge the Stars. Giveaway in the comments, if you leave your email and tell me you want to be entered, is for Sweet Black Waves and Forest of a Thousand Lanterns. So those are the giveaways. Oh, cool. Awesome. Thanks, Terrell. I appreciate that. Have a good night. Most anticipated 2021 releases. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Let me look at no, I have not. Yeah, I've not discussed that actually. That's a good question. That is a good question. Let me look at my like let me look at NetGalley. Like remembering. Oh, okay. Across the Grass Green Fields by Shauna McGuire, of course, which is coming out in January. I'm definitely excited for. Also, very much looking forward to The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, which they pushed back a year because of COVID. So that's a debut YA fantasy that I think is going to be really good and really interesting. What else do I have in here? I am curious about The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. It's coming out through Tor, but it's more of a thriller, which should be interesting. I like other things I've read from Sarah Gailey, so we'll see how that goes. And I don't know. I mean, there's sequels to a bunch of series. Yeah, I'm just trying to like get through a lot of other stuff right now, so we'll see. Yeah, there's a few. I mean, there's going to be more probably once we get closer to the end of the year. And in January, I'll do some kind of like a most anticipated video, but at least at this point, those are some of them. Okay, well, thank you so much to everybody for hanging out. This was super fun. And don't forget to enter the giveaways if you're so inclined. Thank you for 8,000. This has been great. And yeah, yay! Finally, it's exciting. Big milestone, and see where we go from here. Have a good night, everybody. And you will have a new video coming from me in like a day or two. What do I have scheduled next? Okay, let me tell you before I hop off here. I think I should look at my schedule to make sure I'm right. Oh yeah. Okay, so I think the next video is the start of a series that I'm going to be doing, and these were actually inspired by another booktuber whose name is escaping. Peace Love. No, that's not it. What is wrong with my brain right now? Hold on, sorry. I'm going to find it. Jean Bookish Thoughts. Okay, so this is inspired by Jean Bookish Thoughts. I'm doing the reviews of the top 10 highest rated books that I've read according to Goodreads. So that's coming. That should be fun. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate it. And thank you for your support. You've been just wonderful. Thank you and good night. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out. So keep an eye out for new videos. Enter the giveaways. Don't forget to comment down below if you want to be entered to win these. You know what I'll do, because I know I have some international people. We're going to say for the ones I'm mailing, it'll be US only. And if I have somebody who wins who's not in the US, then I will order you something from Book Depository. They do free shipping. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you later. Bye.